Everyone has a good story to tell, and you know it is a good story when the person leans in and says, "See, what had happened was," and then tells the story.
This podcast provides those opportunities to tell those types of stories in education. The stories will be from the good, the bad, and everything in between. We wanted to do this podcast to showcase stories in education and to give flowers to educators who deserve recognition for their excellence.
Our guests will feature parents, students, teachers, administrators, and just about anyone who is involved in education. These stories will inspire you, challenge you, and help you to reflect on your practice of education, whether it be from the inside of the classroom or outside.
If you have a good story to tell, we'd love to hear it. Email us at contact@andredoughty.org. We'd love to have you or your story on a future episode. See What Had Happened starts now.
Welcome to See What Had Happened. This is a podcast where we discuss the stories in education from the good, the bad, and everything in between.
Yes, we do.
We are your co-hosts, Danielle and Andre Daughty. And if this is your very first episode, what's up?
Hello.
We are so glad, elated you are here rocking with us today.
Come on, elated.
Let's go. And then if you are one of the returners, one of the family, one of the homies, one of the people who've been rocking with us since day one, we appreciate your support indeed. We can be found on all social media platforms. Wherever you are rocking your podcast, we are there as well. If you want to see the visual version of this and see our mannerisms and our laughs and our body language, we're on YouTube as well. Wherever it is that you are listening or you are watching, just make sure you click that like button, that subscribe button.
Hey, don't forget to share.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And share it out with your friends and your family. We truly, truly appreciate you here.
Yes, we do.
Today, we are going to talk about being a teacher of the year. Now, before we get into our teacher of the year story with this young lady right here, what do you actually think about the teacher of the year? Do you think it is something that teachers really want? Do you think that it is one of the medals, the accolades? Or what do you think about it?
You know, it is a great accolade. I'm not, well, okay, I'm going to speak for me, Danielle, this girl. It is not something that I was like, oh, I'm going to seek to be the teacher of the year. You know, you just do your job and you do it well.
Yeah. Yeah. There were some people of all the schools that I've been a part of, right? Some of them ran away from being the teacher of the year. Because there are some principals who are like, well, we got to pick one for our school. And then they got to go to the district, and then they got to go to the region or the state or the county or whatever it may be. And I remember so many times, a lot of the friends were like, yep, I declined that nomination, but I appreciate you.
Hey, I was one of those people.
Oh, really? You declined it, huh?
I did.
Yeah. For some people, they just don't really care for it. For others, they like that badge of honor. I mean, it is a badge of honor, too.
It is a badge of honor.
Don't get me wrong there. There are some people who really deserve being teacher of the year. There are some.
Not so much. Let's be real.
I remember one in particular, and I was like, really? That's the one you picked?
This is the bar?
Right. This is... All right, is it a twin? You don't know. Is this a Mrs. Nelson situation that we're doing here where they, just, but then there are some who are really, like, it'd be real dope to be like teacher of the year and then you get to go visit a president, the White House. Like, I think
that would be pretty
that's
awesome.
Pretty special, especially like the 08 through the...
We miss you, Obama.
Through the 15 years, like, that would have been so great.
Yeah.
I mean, just you're seeing history already, but then you're actually there in the room with the very first Black president of the United States.
And hopefully his lovely wife would be there.
Yeah.
Hey, Michelle.
Like, that would have been really, really cool.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Just being at the White House, being honored Teacher of the Year, that's dope. Always. Just would have been a little bit more special.
Yeah.
Had they
drop a little seasoning on it.
Yeah. Being like, hey, Michelle. And then they give you that hug. or they give you that heads up that that the culture knows about those unwritten body language. Yeah, that would have been real cool. Mm-hmm. But then at the same time, a lot of the Teacher of the Year things, it's rough. Having, like, if you are the Teacher of the Year, for those who perhaps may not know, if you are the Teacher of the Year, that following year, you cannot be in the classroom. That following year.
What, that's for National Teacher of the Year?
That following year, if you are like the state teacher of the year.
Oh, I was going to say, that was not my testimony.
I think you go out and promote.
Let's be clear, I was not the state teacher of the year. I was not the district teacher of the year.
Yes.
It was just an honor to be the site teacher of the year. Mm-hmm. That was great.
Yeah. If you are like the state teacher of the year, I do believe you go on tour.
Hold on. Mm-hmm. That just made me think of some other things. Mm-hmm. Now, I just thought, if I was the state teacher of the year and you cannot be in the classroom the next year, oh my gosh, I would be so sad.
Sort of.
I would be so sad, and then I would be upset too.
Sort of.
Let me tell you why.
Why?
Because everybody knows, every good teacher knows, that when you're out the classroom and you got to make those sub plans.
Yeah.
I would be.
But I don't think you're making sub plans for the entire year. I think they give you like a 1-year leave of absence where you get to, because you're going out proselytizing, going to all of the Teacher of the Year meetings and gatherings and all of those things. I don't think.
Hey, I bet you after this COVID situation, they can cut that out, haven't they?
I don't know.
Because listen, the way teachers are exiting
I don't know. We'd have to look that up. I do remember hearing 1 or 2 people that I ended up meeting, and they were Teacher of the Year. And then that next year, they were on the road visiting all the districts, visiting all of this, and being like on a tour of sort. And I was like, when did you get a chance to teach? And they was like, yeah, we're not in the classroom this year. So, I mean, I could see that would be dope, actually. I mean, think about the Teacher of the Year, Rafe Esquith. And he was Teacher of the Year. He ended up, he wrote a book called Teach Like Your Heart Is on Fire. Ended up on Oprah Winfrey Show.
Right. Yes.
And I was like, whoa, okay. Or I think Stephen Clark was Teacher of the Year. He's the white guy that dances, and they are in Atlanta.
Are you sure his name is Stephen?
What's his name? Ron Clark? Ron Clark.
You know you don't do well with names, sir.
Oh, I was pretty close.
You were probably thinking you're mixing Stephen Covey and Ron Clark's name together. So you don't do. You just shouldn't say names, sir. Because
my bad, Ron Clark. I wasn't trying to be disrespectful.
I was like, who?
But I think he was a Teacher of the Year too.
Great.
I'm not sure. He ended up on Oprah. So
I'm still laughing because you butchered these folks' name.
I'm sorry. I got Rafe right though.
And you know you don't do.
I got him right. But anyway,
gold star for you.
Teachers of the Year, it's cool. It is a tedious process because if you win at the site level, then you've got to like create a bumper or a video explaining why you should be considered for the district Teacher of the Year. And then when you become the winner of the district Teacher of the Year, it's the same thing. You create probably another video with more artifacts and data saying why you should be considered for the state. And then the same with national. I don't know a lot of teachers who really want to do all that.
Let me share my testimony.
Go for it.
I'm going to be honest.
See what had happened.
I was going to talk about that.
Oh, okay.
If I can be honest, it was an absolute honor to be selected by my peers as the site Teacher of the Year. However, after reading what it entailed to go on to be the district Teacher of the Year, I just was not that interested. And I mean that in a good way, in that I was like, I need to be in here with these babies. I don't have time to be creating this and that just to say I'm the district Teacher of the Year and a finalist. I just didn't want to do all that.
Do you remember some of the things that they wanted you to do?
Yeah, you had to you had to create a video. Well, not create, but you had to be filmed teaching a lesson, which you did for me. You had to write some kind of essay or something. I was like, what? Grad school?
Yeah.
No. I have stuff to do.
Yeah.
Then you had to write an essay. You might have had to get some references. I don't know. It was honestly, it was a bit much for me to even do the video. I was just like, can I just teach?
Yeah.
I don't want to be like put on the spot. That's just not who I am.
Mm-hmm.
So when I say I did the bare minimum.
And I'm like, you actually got a chance to win.
I mean, Dre was more excited than I was. He was like, you got to do this and this and this. And I was like,
She really had a chance to win that year. No shade to the other educators who were the site winners of that district and the eventual district teacher of the year. But when you looked at the package of, who they were, what they did, how they helped, what they taught, Danielle's video, yeah.
It was great.
Good production. Whoever did the production of that and, edited.
I'm not sure who it was.
They caught really authentic moments compared to like where you could tell that others had just like put up their phone, their iPad, and they just recorded a lesson. You couldn't really hear the microphone. You couldn't hear what they were doing.
This guy got like interviews with some of my former students, my principal. I had a student teacher at the time. I was just like, okay.
It's one thing to just show, but it's another thing to see. So instead of us just telling, here's Danielle and here's why Danielle should be, and it's a bit of that. Nah, let's just get the real people and let them talk it out. And I mean straight cuts. It wasn't a whole lot of, here's what we need you to say. Nah, just tell me what do you think about Mrs. Doughty as a teacher when you were a student. And they sat down and they were honest. And you could tell that it wasn't forced like some of the other videos. Yeah. And then that's what kind of opened my eyes a little to say, so you're telling me whoever has the better video package is in the running to win more. Okay. Yeah. And our video package was pretty strong because we had exemplars and data to show. And then once again, it's about being a teacher. So for like I remember coming to your room and setting up the tripod, and I was like, you just teach. Don't try to find the right phrase and blocking and standing, and no, you just teach and let me capture it. And so Danielle did.
That's what I did.
Corrected a kid right in front of the camera. Camera, no camera.
Get it together.
Yeah, camera, no camera. We celebrating and we're also correcting. And to me, that was really authentic.
Well.
Yeah. So what did it feel like when you got nominated?
Okay. So.
How did that process go?
Okay, every year, one of the former teachers of the year, like, has to get the votes, like send out the ballots and all that stuff. So I had been doing that every year. Not me. I had been voting every year, of course, since I was a teacher there. So let's see. I think I was teacher of the year 2017, 2018 maybe. And I had been nominated for teacher of the year the previous year. Okay. So one of my colleagues said, you are one of the finalists for teacher of the year. And I was like, oh no. I said, take my name off. Take it off. She's like, why? I said, listen, how are people voting for me? I said, I'm trying to get better at my teaching. I need to do this and this and this and this. She was like, that's because you're awesome. You're awesome, Danielle. Blah, blah. I said, listen, just go ahead and take me off because somebody else better can win that. So she took me off the ballot. I was like, yes. So the next year came, and it was whoever the teacher of the year was that previous year was the one who divvied out all the ballots and blah, 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 blah. Well, that person did not tell me that I was a finalist. So I was like, oh, somebody else is going to get teacher of the year, blah, 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 blah. Great. I voted for who I thought was, the best person. And then, I ended up at an assembly. And let me say this. I do recall you saying, I got dressed that morning. And you said, you gonna wear that? And I was like, why are you judging my wardrobe?
Exactly.
Sir?
Interesting.
Yes, I remember you saying that. I said, yeah, that's what I plan to wear. And you said something to me. And you might have told me we were going somewhere. I don't know. So I ended up changing what I was wearing. And usually when there is, when it's teacher of the year time, I think it's around September, October. The principal, the way the principal did things, she said I need everybody to go to the cafeteria for a special announcement. So, all the teachers know, we're getting ready to do teacher of the year. So, I took my class to the cafeteria, and, the principal got up and she said whatever her spiel. And she said, our new teacher of the year is, and she called my name, and I was like, wow, now. It was very like, wow. And, of course my class was just beside themselves.
Yes, they were.
I just remember and then, I am not a crier, but I shed a little thug tear or two. I was like, wait a minute. It was just overwhelming. It was like, wow. Yeah. And I got the cape, and then they had a tiara. Yeah. And then I look up on stage, and my family is up there. It was, yeah.
I like how the principal did that. How most teacher of the years don't look like that. This one, she kept everybody out of it except for the actual winner. So she had called us maybe a week before and said, don't tell your wife. She won teacher of the year. We're going to have an assembly. Can you bring family? Absolutely. So I called her mom, her dad, called my mom, my dad. I said, hey, here's teacher of the year happening. Blah, blah, blah.
My sister was there.
Yeah, I remember your sister.
Yeah.
And someone got flowers. I think it was your dad brought you flowers for to win. And so everybody's in the auditorium, and it looks like another assembly. I mean, kids are sitting where they normally sit. The parents are there. The family members are sitting right where they are. The teachers are sitting where they are. Everything, is normal. Principal gets up there. She says, okay, well, we have the finalists for teacher of the year, and says all of the finalist names. So, of course, now all of the kids are, oh, wow, former students are screaming and cheering. And the entire time we're behind the curtain on stage. And so we're just sitting there and hearing all the elementary screams. And they said, and the winner is drum roll. I do remember that.
Oh, wow.
Where all the students were beating on their thighs or their pants or their clothes to give a drum roll. And then she says, Danielle Daughty. And Danielle looks as shocked as normal. And so she's like, me? Huh? Me? You voted for me?
I did that. Are you serious?
Just like this.
You're extra.
For those who can't see,
You're extra.
imagine Sally Fields. You like me. You really, really like me. That's how Danielle was. She gets up on the stage, and while she's walking towards the stage, they pull the curtains, and then she sees her entire family there. Mm-hmm. And she cries. I can see the thug tear there. Yeah. Yeah. Especially since, like, as educators, we hardly ever get those rewards.
Yeah.
Not saying that we want them.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. We don't look for them.
Yeah.
You just do.
You want to be acknowledged in some capacity, like the work that I am doing is worth it.
Hey, legislators, how about you acknowledge us in that pay?
Yeah.
Come on.
And then from an elementary perspective, the return of investment is so much greater.
Yes.
Like Danielle's second grade teacher. Yeah, you can see those students grow as a third, fourth, fifth grader. But until Danielle is at a Target one day, and then that former student from 12 years ago comes up and recognizes and says, hey, this is what I am now doing thanks to you. Mm-hmm. Like the return of investment is so much longer. You kind of don't think of, oh, I should get acknowledged for the hard work that I'm doing.
Yeah.
And so being a teacher of the year, it does that. I'm sorry that it took all those years for you to do it. I also wonder, why did you deny it?
Like I said, I just felt like I needed more experience under my belt. I felt like there were people who were better qualified than I was. I don't think, like I said, it's different in that colleague was like, she told me that I was like one of the finalists. I don't think, because that next year nobody told me that I was the finalist. So I think she was doing me a favor. And then not a favor, but she was like giving me a heads up. And then when I'm like, oh no, don't, she's like, but Danielle, she said,
so you actually think you probably would have won the year before? So she was giving you a heads up, but when you said no?
I don't think that I don't know if I would have won, but it was almost like, it was very encouraging, because she was like, Danielle, you wouldn't be in this position if people didn't think that you were,
facts,
capable of holding this title. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, I was just bent on saying, no, somebody else is better than I am. They deserve it more than I do.
Yeah.
But again, that following year, nobody gave me a heads up. So it was,
we gonna let her win this year, and we ain't gonna tell her so she can say no.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I think there were 2 times that I think I could have been teacher of the year, because you're like, when you are a teacher, kind of like playing a sport. There are some years when you're trying to grow and trying to learn, and then there are other years that you feel like you have mastered it. Mm-hmm. Like you are really confident in what you're doing in the games and the things and things like that. Mm-hmm. There were 2 times where I thought I could have been. And both times I wasn't even nominated.
But how did you know you were nominated?
So both of those, they normally tell you.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. So my earpiece keeps falling out. I'm not picking my ear people.
So like when you are at that staff meeting and they give you the ballots, that's when you see people's names.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So that's when you know, I could be part of, of the things. The other place, I thought that I would be nominated because there were a lot of schools coming to my classroom to see me. Mm-hmm. So open door policy is always, whoever want to come through, swing through, let's go. Mm-hmm. But when you have schools from out of state catching airplanes just to spend 2 and 3 days at your school, and then when they're there, they're spending half, if not the entire day inside of your class, you're doing something really special.
Yes. Yes.
And that one year where I thought, oh, this might be legit, because the year before, our good friend had those same people in their classrooms and they won.
Oh, okay.
And the year before that, another colleague had the same people in their classrooms and they ended up winning. Mm-hmm. I'm getting 2 times the amount of one of those in my room, because they they are seeing Andre Doughty and The Element and seeing the kids and da-da-da-da-da. I really thought that might have been the year.
It's mine. It's mine.
And, you stay humble about it.
Yeah, you have to.
But then the conversation was, Doughty, we've won too many years in a row. So I'm not even going to put you on the list.
Wait a minute, what? Is that a backhanded compliment?
That is how.
We're just not going to put you on the list. We're going to let somebody else win.
And the teacher of that year would win $10,000.
Right, yes.
And so we had some medical bills that we needed addressed.
Oh, yeah, because we just had a baby or something,
we had just had a baby. And I was like, okay, this might be a blessing from the Jesus. The Jesus is going to bless us here, And I remember having that. And Doughty, I know that you've seen all these people come in your classroom. Uh-huh. And, he's setting it up. Yeah. So I'm thinking he's going to give the alley-oop. And Doughty, everything that you've been doing, and we appreciate it. And your kids are on this level, and the vocabulary that they've gained, and the confidence, and the And I'm like, yeah.
Come on.
And then that's when he hit me with it. But Doughty, we've won the last 2 years.
Isn't that the point? Don't you want to say, hey, they just keep winning at this school.
Yeah, we've won the last 2 years. And I just didn't feel that it was going to be right.
Who are you to be moral?
We want to give somebody else a chance.
Okay.
And when I tell you, my heart broke. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. When Clark Griswold
he wanted that bonus.
realized that bonus wasn't coming. And he was just sitting there, and his eye was twitching.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, ah. And then he was looking for me to be like, oh, it's okay. Yeah, we want to give other people a chance too. And he was like looking at me like, huh? I was not in a
Why did you wait till I took a sip of water to say that?
Hey, I was not in a good mood.
I mean, I wouldn't have been
either. I was like, oh, really?
You can't be kidding me.
Yeah. And then here's the kicker to this story, because I'm just now thinking of this. This was not even planned to be a part of the discussion.
Okay.
That summer, we go to the national conference for this school. Mm-hmm. And all of those schools in that network are there. Mm-hmm. And then they had us sitting on the second row because our school had very few staff, but 2 teachers of the year at that spot. So we're like where the cameras would be when they say, and the award goes to. So we're front and center. And then they say, and the nominees are. And then they start reading the people's names who were nominated. Mm-hmm. They were all at the school watching me. Wow. James Johnson, English. And James Johnson was in my room. Wow. Sarah McLaughlin. And Sarah got my chance. And Hosea, blah, 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 blah. And Hosea was getting my lesson plans. And of the maybe 12, at least 5 or 6 of them had been in my room.
That's a lot of nominees, 12. Ooh.
Well, yeah, because it was a very big network. Mm-hmm. And then the winner was one of the 5.
You know, if you didn't cuss, then you probably would.
Ooh. But here's the saving grace. And this is what always grounds you. When students realize that I didn't win, and the students, so we're now back, in school, everybody's there. Mm-hmm. And the students realize that everybody, all these visitors, because kids are smart. Mm-hmm. They know which teachers are coming from different states and cities and schools, and they're watching certain teachers teach, and they're skipping by other teachers' classrooms. And they were like, Mr. Doughty, hey, man, you should have won. But, I'm going to be honest with you. You don't deserve that reward because your reward is going to be 10 times greater. Because the people who didn't win, the people who won it in real life, like, you better than them. So And like that was his version of giving me a motivational speak of man, you're doing something more in our lives, and we appreciate that, and we acknowledge it, and we see it when others don't. And so I stopped that lesson that day, and I was like, man, I appreciate you, because I ain't gonna even lie. Like, we always talk about keeping it real. I'm gonna be real. I could have used that money for our family because X, Y, and Z. But man, hearing you say that, and then of course by that time there were others in the classroom who was like, oh, another thing, Mr. Daughty, remember the time when? And so they gave me like an appreciation class setting that day. And so that made me feel better inside of, yeah, you don't have to be a teacher of the year. As long as the community, the students ride with you, it's all good.
Good job.
If you were to be the administrator of the year, would you accept that nomination? Oklahoma Administrator of the Year.
Absolutely not.
Why is that?
Again.
The work.
Yes. I just feel like I need more experience under my belt, you know, more victories, more defeats.
Yeah.
Just
more growth.
Yes.
Would Educator Hall of Fame interest you? Let's say 15, 20 years down the line.
Oh, yeah.
And you've rocked and rolled it. And they said, we want to nominate Danielle Daughty for Educator Hall of Fame.
Yes. Yes. It would be
feel
worth
like
it
you're
then.
worth it then.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes. Lots of years.
Yeah. Or even Langston University's super educator.
Oh, I'll take that.
Okay.
Come on, L's up.
Okay.
Come on, yes. Yes. Some of the best educators in the world are people you've never heard of. They may not be on TV or get the National Teacher of the Year awards, but we want to give those teachers their flowers today. We know the sacrifice and the heavy lifting these educators go through daily. With that said, we present Sprout Outs.
All right, Danielle, who would you like to sprout out this episode?
Okay, so I have lots of Sprout Outs.
Let's go for them.
Okay, I'm going to go with number one will be you. Why? Because you lit the spark for me to become an educator.
Okay.
I watched you work, teach your heart out, and you inspire me. Sprout out to you. Thank you. I would like to sprout out my mother-in-law, Teacher Daughty, who produced this man, who ignited.
And the branch on the tree, and the tree, and the root, and the root.
She is no. Seriously, she is a phenomenal educator. I believe she retired like 42 years of experience.
She definitely was post 40. Yeah.
Yeah. Superstar. So, sprout out to Teacher Daughty. Love you. Then I would like to sprout out Mrs. Dana Hamilton, who saw something in me.
Agreed.
Even when our kids were in elementary, and I was just like just a tutor. She saw something in me. Gave me my first teaching job.
Yeah.
Always encouraged me. Yep. And finally, my last sprout out is to Miss Kimberly Ashcraft, who was my mentor teacher when I was a student teacher. She was, oh my gosh, she's also sore. Found that out too. First day. But she was literally one of the first and only Black educators in, can I say the district? Okay. In the Edmond Public Schools District. So when I say she was a mentor, I mean, she talked me through all the things. She taught me all the things. I am forever indebted to Kimberly Ashcraft. I used probably 90% of her strategies.
Absolutely. You picked up her voice too.
I did pick.
Yeah, that was the most.
I did pick up her voice.
Yes. Literally, she would talk just like Ashcraft. And I was like, "You, where's your voice?" Yeah. She's like, "No, it is right here."
Oh my gosh! Yeah. I mean, everything that she did, everything that she taught me was, oh my gosh, an inspiration. So, yes, spread out to you.
We believe when one wins, we all win. We would love for you to help us win. Here's how you can do it. First, you can click that like button and subscribe wherever you find your podcast or wherever you watch. We really, really appreciate when you do that. The second thing you can do, share it out with the homies. Share it out with your teacher friends. Share it out with your friends and your family. The more we are in front of people, or the more that we are heard, the more people can hear stories just like this. The good, the bad, and everything in between.
Hey, listen, I just had a little chuckle moment because you said, we believe when one wins, we all win. And I said, just like I won teacher.
Just like you won it, but I didn't get to win it. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I had a silly moment. I had a silly moment.
I love it. But we want you to win just like Danielle. Be a winner like her. The only way you can do that. Yeah.
Winner.
I'm through with you. And we're through with this episode.
Yes.
Please make sure you connect and follow us and wait for this next episode of
See What Had Happened. Bye.
You're a fool. You are a fool.
This podcast is a proud member of the Teach Better Podcast Network. Better today, better tomorrow, and the podcast to get you there. You can find out more at teachbetter.com/podcast.